Bronchi, Pig, and the Wheel of Petersburg. In 1895, Coffee Creek Picaresque. On a cool morning sometime in 1895, cool enough for a skim of mist to hang low over the sloughs, Bronchi the donkey, Pig, wearing his bandana like he always did, and General Beauregard, wearing his kindergarten badge like a Confederate medal, stood on the outskirts of Cooter, staring down toward the mill yard. Back then, Cooter was nothing more than a scatter of ridgeline homesteads and a mule path that pretended to be a road. The mill that sat just outside the settlement was small, hand-powered, and reasonable. Not a steam monster. Not yet. And Coffee Creek, as clean and cold as it would ever be, ran right behind it, sliding south through a corridor of cane, sycamore, sweet gum, and oak. Pig squinted. "Bronchi, you sure this is the right way to Petersburg?" Bronchi nodded with the confidence of someone who was right mainly because there were no other options. "We stay on the east bank, Pig. That way we don't have to ford nothing." General Beauregard strutted ahead like he had already conquered the entire watershed. "By my honor as the feathered god of Egypt Township," he declared, "I shall lead this expedition." He promptly tripped on a tree root, rolled down the bank, and landed in a clump of buttonbush. ".com," he muttered. The journey to Petersburg. The trio followed the creek south, the canopy tightening until the world felt green and whispering. Coffee Creek in 1895 wasn't Stink Creek. It wasn't scoured, spilled into, or chemically offended. It was a cold, narrow ribbon that fed deer, bear, turkeys, and every species of fish that didn't yet know it would someday need a Superfund lawyer. Bronchi walked steady. Pig waddled behind. The general romped, teetered, fell into things, recovered, and claimed each mishap was a reconnaissance maneuver. The creek curved and bent, offering views of sandy shoals where minnows flickered. They crossed under the long arms of sycamores big enough to shade a barn. The only sound was the slap of water, the occasional grunt from Pig, and the general lecturing anyone who would listen about how destiny had called them southward. "Why we even going down here?" Pig asked. Bronchi flicked an ear. "Because Petersburg's holding an agricultural wheel meeting. Folks say they're fixing to talk about fairness, prices, equity for the working farmer. Could be important." General Beauregard stopped short. "Ah," he said, "a political convocation. My specialty." Pig gave Bronchi a look that said, "Oh hell, what have you done?" Coffee Creek, the clean version, a short lesson. Pig, being Pig, wanted to know the history. "So, who all lived down this way before Petersburg?" Bronchi answered while stepping carefully over roots. "Quapaw centuries back. Then settlers drifting down the Ouachita corridor. Folks farming little patches on the ridges. Coffee Prairie wasn't far from here. Lots of old homesteads. Petersburg came later, a real river community." Pig nodded, impressed. General Beauregard immediately claimed that he personally taught the Quapaw how to farm corn, which even Pig didn't dignify with a response. Petersburg appears. By early afternoon, the creek widened and the woods opened into a patchwork of bottomland clearings. The trio climbed the bank and looked south. There it was, Petersburg, 1895. Not vanished yet, not wiped away, not erased. A living settlement on the Ouachita, with wagons, smoke from cook fires, and men in suspenders gathered under the shade of a long shed where today's agricultural wheel meeting was underway. Pig whispered, "Bronchi, we shouldn't be here." Bronchi replied, "Pig, this is literally a meeting for farmers. I think you qualify." The general puffed his chest. "Stand aside. I shall address the assembly." The agricultural wheel meeting. The shed was full. Farmers and small landholders sat on benches listening to a speaker talk about freight rates, monopolies, and the need for unity among those who actually tilled the soil. It was serious business. Folks were tired of being broke, while other men made fortunes off their work. The trio tried to slip in unnoticed. No chance. General Beauregard hopped onto an empty crate like he had been summoned by God and Robert's Rules of Order at the same time. "Gentlemen," he bellowed, "I am General Beauregard, feathered ambassador of Cooter, keeper of honor, founder of the Walmart supply line resistance." Pig slapped a hoof over his face. Bronchi whispered, "Let him run the battery down." The crowd froze. A biscuit dropped. One man whispered, "Is that a chicken?" The general continued, "I come to speak to you of fairness, virtue, and the need for all creatures, tall, short, feathered, hoofed, or otherwise maladjusted, to unite." Someone in the back muttered, "I didn't drink that much." The wheel members were polite. They let him rant. They even nodded once or twice, especially when he talked about railroad rates hurting small producers. The general strutted like William Jennings Bryan in feathers. Then came the lesson. A long-bearded wheel member named Mr. Coward stood up. "Sir," he said gently, "your enthusiasm is noted, but being part of something bigger takes more than words. Every man here has carried out his portion of the work. Responsibility matters." Pig elbowed Bronchi. "He talking to the general or all of us?" Bronchi shrugged. "Probably all of us, Pig." The general paused. His chest deflated a little. Responsibility was his weakest suit. He cleared his throat. "By my honor," he said softly, "I shall consider this." And the crowd, bless 'em, clapped. They clapped for the rooster. This did not improve his humility. The walk back to Cooter. Evening settled in. Fireflies blinked along the east bank. The creek murmured. Pig was tired. Bronchi was peaceful. The general was quiet, thinking, processing, perhaps even learning. Finally, Beauregard said, "Bronchi, Pig, do you reckon responsibility is as important as honor?" Bronchi answered, "Ain't no honor without it." Pig added, "And ain't no wheel neither." The general thought about this for another half-mile. Then he nodded solemnly. "Very well," he said. "Tomorrow morning, by my honor, I shall rise at dawn and announce the sun with renewed vigor." Pig snorted. "You say that now, but you oversleep more than you crow." The general fluffed his feathers. "I shall set an internal alarm." He did not have one, but that was fine. They were home. They had learned something, and Coffee Creek whispered behind them, clean for now, unspoiled, carrying their reflections back north toward Cooter.